Hey everybody, this is Julie Quinn. I have just gone through all of your annotated bibliographies and I've left you feedback, and I want to give you a little bit of insight on academic formatting. I know this is a brand new world and it's not like the type of formatting you do even for, a business cover letter or for a lab report or for the emails that you tend to send. I think it's going to be really important for you to pay close attention to the links that I've put in, that I've embedded in those files. The two links that I've given you are these. Purdue University's online writing lab. And the first link that I've given you is general APA guidelines. Now, 90% of you are doing APA style. So I've just given this to you, and it's got the main paper sections. It just says, on this section, this is what you do in your writing head. Now, for the annotated bib, I didn't take off any points if you didn't have a writing head on your title page, but I wanted you to practice the title page. And even the assignment said, hey, practice the title page. Do in Times New Roman 12-point font. All of that was updated for you. I told you to scroll down on this link that I gave you, and you can see here that on page 1, there's a running head and there's Purdue Online Writing Lab sample title page, and then the title. So the title of your annotated bib or the title of your draft upcoming, your name and school. That's all that's needed. Nothing fancy, no big fonts, no bold, no italics. Okay, so what I should really do here is I should go into the feedback and give you sort of a sense of what I want this to look like. So let's open up a new file and let me show you how to set up formatting in APA style. So I maybe provided links to YouTube, but this should suffice for you guys, okay? So maybe I'm doing a paper on the death penalty. The first thing I'll do is my writing head. So if you click into your header, now keep in mind that these instructions are only for Microsoft Word. So if you're using Google Docs or if you're using Apple, Mac Pages, it's going to be a little bit different. But I use Word. You have access to Word, so I think that this will suffice for the explanation of where everything goes and what it looks like. So the first thing you can do is put in your page numbers at the top of the page on the right-hand side. Now you'll notice the cursor is blinking right in front of the page numbers. So you say running head, and if you want to make it perfect, you can put this all in Times New Roman, but the font can be smaller in the running head than the regular body, so I don't care that it's 11. So you say running head, colon, annotated bibliography, just as an example of what it would have looked like with the annotated bibs that I just created. Now you'll see all these little dots here, and they don't actually appear. That's just an indicator of space, and I've just turned this on so I can see where I'm at. Then I turn off show hide. But the problem is that if we're in the running head and we're in our design tab, if we didn't choose different first page, we're not going to set it up in perfect APA style. So let's do it one more time. Different first page is important for APA because the second, third, fourth, fifth pages of your paper don't look the same as the cover page, even in the running head. So make sure you toggle to different first page. Then you choose page number, top of page, and then you say running head. And of course, it probably toggled away from Times New Roman, and in the running head, I really don't care. So if you had Calibri, no points taken away. You just say running head, annotated bibliography. And you'll notice my annotated bibliography phrasing is in all caps. That's a weird style that APA requires. Don't know why, they just do. So now I'm in the body of my paper. I'm going to go toward the middle. I'm going to choose the center, and we say annotated bibliography. Pretend I'm the student in this class. And UMGC. Okay, so that's all you have to have here. Again, if you Control A, which takes over everything, I want you to go 12-point, Times New Roman, and then over in paragraphing, I'm going to choose 2 for double spacing. So this is what your cover page should look like. This is it for APA style. That's all that's required for an annotated bib, for a draft, or for a final essay version. You only need your the title, your name, and the school name. Let me pretend I'm Jane Doe, just so it doesn't look confusing. You don't need the professor's name, you don't need a date, you don't need the class. APA just for whatever reason doesn't require it. Now, below this, so I don't have to keep hitting returns and messing with formatting, I'm going to go to Insert, Page Break, Sorry about that. And then it's going to bump me onto a new page. The first thing I'm going to do in my new page is I'm going to go into my running head because it's a different first page. The only difference is I'm going to strip out the words running head. I know that's weird. I'm just going to move it over almost to where this little hourglass is up here, just like that. And then I'm going to click in. It could be annotated bibliography. We could say draft title. Maybe now we're looking at your draft, and then your first paragraph of your draft starts right there. And at this point, it's not centered. It should be left justified. So of course you indent your first paragraph and then you start writing. That's the format of your draft. Now, the final thing that I want to show you here is how do you format an APA Works Cited page? I gave you guys links to reference lists for electronic sources. And of course, it gives you a little pull down menu on Purdue OWL, is it a journal article or whatever. But the cool, tricky thing with the UMGC library databases is if you go into your tools or you go into resources, and go to library, and you've gotten all the training when you were building your search in OneSearch. So of course, full text, of course, scholarly. See, I'm writing about the death penalty. And I can never spell that word. Okay, so I'm going to search this, and I want to show you what ends up happening when you do searches and how quickly we can format a reference entry by using the library databases. I didn't show you this before the annotated bib because I wanted you to practice. I think it's really important to do kinesthetic practicing, to get in there and to practice putting it together so you know what pieces at the very least you have to include, like author title, the author's name or the author's names, titles, publication title, copyright date, and the URL, the web address. Okay. Let's do this article. So let's click on this and imagine that I'm going to use this for my paper, and this is part of my body evidence. Okay, so I'm clicking on the title in here, and you'll notice that you have like the abstract. You can read the full article over here. But on the right-hand side is the beauty of the databases, is the cite option. So we choose the cite option, we scroll down to APA, and we grab the sucker. This is the benefit of using the databases to get trustworthy research. So I'm going to insert another page just to show you what the references looks like. So I'm going to enter one source, and you'll notice that it doesn't set it in hanging indents, and it's got this weird highlight. We can fix this. And it actually didn't 100% get the title correctly in APA, but it's close. I mean, it's a computer program. It's not going to do it perfectly. We can fix this. So instead of just pasting, when you right click, paste special, and then I'll show you how to fix this. So first of all, just take out the tab. The second thing you can do is do it in what we call sentence case. So you only capitalize the first word, proper nouns, and a first word after a colon. So it's giving me about 80% accuracy. It's not 100%. So that's what it looks like in sentence case. Now, the title of a journal in APA is always italic, and then the rest of it's good. So we're almost there. The other thing we want to do is set it in a hanging indent, and there's more than one way to do this. The first way is go to Home. You can expand paragraph options, and then under indentation, choose hanging. You can get all of your references in here first and then highlight the whole reference section and do that in one fell swoop if you want to. Finally, make sure when you enter in multiple sources, you do it alphabetically by last name. So more of your sources are probably going to go in front of this W if it's a C source or a D source or what have you. So this is how you format your sources. Now, when you're writing about the source, your in-text citation would be Waldo and Myers. And Waldo and Myers, and what was their year of publication, because APA does that, 2019. Waldo and Myers state that, or you could say, just imagine this is a middle paragraph. The data, if I can spell the correctly today, the data show if you add the author's name at the end of the sentence where it's borrowed, just make sure then it looks like this, where you have author names. And there are rules. If it's like between under 5 or 6 authors, you name them all the first time. And then after, you shift to et al., which is Latin for and everyone else. I'm not too particular. I will not grade against any of that. My feedback this week will be to go through and give you help and support on formatting. I don't expect perfection for the draft, but I wanted to give you this video to give you an opportunity to see, okay, so what does this look like? How do I organize it? Make sure as well, I'm going to go into the week 5. So if we go to week 5, you don't get a grade on your draft. You only get feedback on your draft, and that's what's great. Okay. But no, 2,000 words is like 6 or 7 pages of writing. If you only write 2 or 3 pages, you're not going to get as much helpful feedback. So just keep that in the back of your mind, but there's no penalty. No. 3 of these must be scholarly journals, and sources should be selected for reliability, currency, and level of information. And this should actually now say UMGC, right? Because we've just updated our name, the UMGC library. So I've shown you when you use the library, there are tons of benefits for helping with source format. And that gives you all of the time to save to work on your writing. So this week, I will be available Thursday. I will be traveling Friday, so I do not have office hours this Friday. So if you want to work with me and brainstorm and some ideas on your draft, even before you post it, just reach out. And then you will get feedback on the draft at some point next week. I'm not going to be early because I'm traveling this weekend. But it will certainly be on time, and you will all have feedback before the next week is up. Reach out if you have any questions, okay? Good luck.